Amen indeed. He is risen. I'm basically about to say the same thing, but in 18 minutes. That didn't get applause. I am a worrier. I worry about things. I know the lilies of the fields are clothed beautifully, sparrows find food, and worrying adds nothing to my life. But you can't necessarily prove that my worrying hasn't driven away things. I am a worrier. I never wanted to be. It always felt like a flaw. I used to praise myself as someone who could just fall asleep and stay asleep for as long as I wanted to, without interruption. But in truth, the seeds of being a worrier were always with me. I come from an august line of worriers. And at certain point, my natural anxiety that is shown in knee bobbing, swaying back and forth, and sometimes leaping pews while preaching. At some point, it was clear to me that that natural anxiety had moved on to full-fledged worrying as I got to that stage of life where I was good friends with my 3 a.m. demons. Those are the voices that keep me up from about 3 in the morning to 4:30 in the morning. The litany of things that I must worry about. The conversation I had where I said the wrong thing 5 years, 23 weeks, and 2 days ago. The moment when I realized I forgot to email back a friend, Jessica Marshall, 2 months ago today. What is annoying me, what I'm angry about, all the litany, it's long and it keeps me up, and I had to admit I'm a worrier. The worst of those nights for me is Saturday night, because that's the night when accumulated anxiety meets subconscious sermon practice. That's right, I will actually be practicing my sermon in my semi-sleep or writing one. And there is no day where that is worse than on Easter Eve, particularly this Easter Eve. I did not stay awake for more than 45 minutes in any different period. I know because I look at my phone. Oh, it's 12:15. Oh, it's 12:57. Oh, you know how it goes. Partly because I hadn't finished this sermon. Okay, I hadn't started this sermon. I had started sermons, just not this one. I blocked out 4 hours to come in yesterday to write a sermon. I even had inspiration around a great many ideas for as many as 4 sermons I could preach today. And my wife assured me I only got to have one. None of them came out well. I was sure that good ideas were going to flow out from me as if from on high. Things spewed, but it wasn't any good. So I started and deleted 3 sermons, and I gave up. And I decided that I would come in while it was yet dark and figure out what of those ideas was still alive. Now, I don't by any means want you to understand that my sermon is like burying your child or the world's Messiah. But somewhere at about 3 in the morning, and the note on my phone that I typed at that time would confirm that date, I started to think about those women on what we might call Easter Eve, but for them it was just the nightfall before they could actually bury Jesus properly. I started to think about them trying to sleep that night. I wondered if the women had, in fact, agreed to meet at 5 in the morning at the neighborhood well and walk together to make sure that they could arrive at the tomb right as the first light hit the horizon. I wondered if each of those women, separately but the same, actually gathered at 4:30, because let's be honest, I'm not sleeping. I might as well get moving. And I wondered if when the first of those women arrived, they saw next to the well a heaped mass of person, already strangely there. Mary, Jesus' mother, the one who sang not scant 4 months ago, like it was yesterday, the hopes and fears of all the years are met in you tonight, and now is here to bury that hope. I wondered if that second woman to arrive saw this heap of Mary sitting there, no longer sobbing, but dry heaving because there was no liquid left in her. Mary, why are you here? We're not gathering yet for another hour. We can't see anything. And I wonder if Mary then might have moved her head just enough to allow her deadpan eyes to take in her friend, and with full and utter despair wonder, why does it matter if we can see when there's nothing worth seeing? Except she wanted to hold his body again. She wanted to wipe off the blood stains from where they pierced him with thorns and spear. She wanted to lay him out proper and see that all the rites and rituals of her faith, the faith that he personified in his being. And so she would have picked herself up and with her friends staggered to the tomb. And when they arrived there, still dark in an age before security lighting, a moan would have escaped her parched lips as she sees that not only is the tomb been raided and the stone cast aside, but his body is gone. Someone has taken my son's body. That's the last straw. And as that moan lingers in the stone, suddenly it's bright. Suddenly it's like day appeared and started at noon as two men in dazzling white clothing appeared. Only we know they're not men because this is biblical code for angels. And these angels appeared and they light the scene in shadows and light. Why do you look for the living among the dead? The women, I imagine, would not have responded. It's a bizarre question. It's a bizarre greeting. And they were met with nothing. Have you ever gone rustic and made a campfire? Show of hands. You ever made a campfire? No gasoline allowed. No butane lighters, no store-bought bundles of pre-dried wood. You gathered up some dead wood and sticks and leaves with which to bring fire to life like you were Prometheus. You build your structure in the reverse order with which it is ready to burn. So you put your leaves down there, these things which are a flash of flame and then gone. And on that, you put your sticks and your bark that will curl up in their consumption. And then you place some branches. And maybe you have a log or half a tree waiting in the wings when the flames are enough to life that it can consume such materials. And you strike your starter and you get nothing. And you strike it again and you get nothing. And you strike it again and an errant little spark goes somewhere completely wrong. And then you go get the lighter fluid. Okay, no lighter fluid. But you know the moment when you're wondering whether we're having cold supper tonight. And then finally, something catches. Leaves begin to curl before you can even sense or see anything. You begin to feel this energy almost come out of you and this excitement. Can I actually do this? A little black hole appears, and then some smoke, and then a flicker of flame, and you get really careful with how much you're breathing. And you hope. Why do you look for the living among the dead? He's not here. He has risen. Oh, I had written in here that you were going to say that. Just so you know. I mean, I counted on you. Only, we're not there yet in the story. That's not what they're feeling yet. Right now, it's this kindled, tiny little piece of hope. And we have licks of burning leaves, but nothing more. And in this moment, there's this equally difficult next step. You see, these leaves have to hold their flame long enough to bring the sticks up to temperature, 451 degrees. We're coaxing that spark. We're trying to kindle full flame into burning certainty. We have sticks smoldering now, but this moment, will it hold? Could it build? Is this real? Why do you look for the living among the dead? He isn't here. He has risen. Do you remember what he told you while you were in Galilee? That the Son of Man must be handed over to sinners and be crucified. And only on the third day would he rise again. And the flames are beginning to grow now. You can see one of the branches looks like it might be burning too. It's not just the detritus, it's real flame, it's real fire. I'm going to get to eat. Remember how he told you. And they remembered. And returning from the tomb, they told all of this to the 11 and to the rest. And they became a kindled flame of burning passion and abundant life and resurrection power, preachers and prophets of a new reality, and they're burning and alive. You see, it wasn't just that Jesus was dead. They were in a place of death. They were bound by death. Hope had dried up. Dreams were deferred. They were like a raisin in the sun. Christ is risen. And so are they. They've run to the men to tell these disciples, not quite, but would-be apostles, what's going on. And you know what the men did? They threw a wet blanket on it. And then they muttered to themselves how women don't know how to make a fire. That's men's work. It's almost impossible for the fire to catch to another fire. It defies the odds that one came to believe, let alone 12. These non-remembering disciples teach us that it's hard to believe in miracles. The resurrection of Jesus, idle tale. And yet this tale is sending out sparks. And Peter dares to wonder. And he runs into their truth. He runs into their fire. He runs into this idle tale, daring to believe, and becomes a part of their newfound conflagration. He is risen. They are risen. You are risen. So stand up. No, I'm just joking. This fire is catching. And those who were caught in the grip of death are coming alive. And it's like their eyes are opened. I want to back up a moment. So if you will, picture Peter going backwards into the tomb, and backwards into the group of men, and then the women going backwards into the tomb, and then the women going back to that well and back to their sleepless homes. To a moment we don't have recorded. To a moment no gospel tells us about. The moment Jesus actually rose. The moment the resurrection actually happens. All we have is moments of coming to believe. Experiences of when we came to believe the resurrection. And Jesus doesn't actually rise for you until you came to believe. So Jesus rises for Paul on the Damascus road, and Jesus rose for Peter when he ran to that tomb, and he rose from the women when those two men told him about it. But when did he really rise, and what did that look like? I've always imagined that it looks like two angels, maybe those same two angels who are having a busy day and have a long schedule God assigned them. And they show up and they roll back that tomb, and then one mutters, God better have done God's part, otherwise this was a long trip for nothing. And then they walk into the tomb and they shake Jesus. Hey, are you awake? And groggily, Jesus wakes and rises, and then they walk out as Jesus reimagines his own life. That's kind of how I've always pictured it. But what if that's not how it happened at all? What if Jesus bursts into life? Because the divine spark in him cannot be put out. Not by the disciples' wet blanket or Rome's tomb. Not by the Pharisees' power-hungry ways or the powers and principalities of our world. Not even by Paul's zealous desire to staunch these flames before they grow anymore. So Jesus just rises. I, he said in John, will give up my life and then I will take it back again. And when Jesus takes it back, the world rockets out with a blast of abundant life because death can't hold him. And no one touched the darn stone in front of the tomb, but it just shot out like from a cannon. And this truth is lighting a spark in our hearts. Well, it wants to, but we're Presbyterians. And that's a little bit too much Holy Spirit for us. I wonder if Jesus becomes expansive, uncontainable life in that moment. That Jesus just said, enough, death, you had your day, you're done. And Jesus ignited this kindling flame. The two angels fanned that flame until it catches. Mary and her friends gave testimony to that flame. Peter ran into that flame, and we get to inherit this work, this gift, that we can speak life in places of death, because our world has a lot of them. A lot of them. Think right now about the places of death you are hearing about on a daily basis. Any place that knows more worry than hope, that knows more fear than trust, that knows more oppression than justice. There is a lot of tombs of our making, of the world's making, and of the making of the powers and principalities of this world. And to all of them, Jesus says, enough! You've had your day. And the challenge is that we're meant to be the next branch that catches that flame. We're meant to be the next branch that speaks that truth, to be people of abundant life in places of death, to be the living among the dead. Do you not remember? You are not alone. You are loved. The life that lives in me is alive in you. He is risen. You are risen. Everyone is rising. Work it out. God is on the loose. And so are we. And nothing, not the embrace of fear or doubt or despair, not the fear of the 3 a.m. demons, are the equal to this power let loose in the world. You are not alone. You are beloved. And together we will light the world on fire. He is risen. Now go and do likewise.